Bring yourself back to silence. Silence is a very mysterious place, because in silence we're not defining where you are, but you're still somewhere. And there's a lack of silence. We're still in that same place, but we can't tell because we're busy with whatever noise we're making. So returning to silence means stop making noise. All forms of noise, on any level, to the extent that you have control over it, of course. And then you'll realize something about yourself that you won't notice while you're making noise. It's something that's more important than anything noise can tell you. It's the place that gives you power to make noise. It's a very important, powerful place. All human power comes from that place. Human power is the supreme power on this planet. Within your perception are all the different levels of concept you've built to create that perception. And the beginning of that building, the beginning of all the concepts that together make you vulnerable, make you defined, meets the silence. The beginning came out of nowhere. And on that beginning so much was built. The beginning was a conception, was a thought, an idea, an identity of self that wasn't based on anything other than what it felt like at that moment. And yet on that was built an entire identity with so many complexities based on what it felt from that moment on, what it was like to be you since that moment. But all that is happenstance, all that is not an identity. Identity is who you were before that concept entered your mind. Once that concept entered, it took over. You became someone. There was someone to protect. There was someone that was trying to be enough to some external measures. That someone is a conception of the mind. Before the mind had that concept, there was someone. That someone is real. That someone is silent. That someone has all your potential and none of your limitations. And that someone is the real you. You are all the potential. The limitations are happenstance. The limitations are what it appears to be in the mirror, but not what it actually is. The limitations became as we believed in them. We believed in them because of circumstances. Circumstances that were decisions of human beings. And based on those decisions, our own or decisions of others, we created beliefs about reality, beliefs that are not accurate. Those beliefs become limitations. Those limitations are not who we are. Identity means something that we are not based on circumstances. Anything that we identify as because of a circumstance is not an identity. It's a choice. It's a dress for identity. It's a shell. We can't take it with us. It's not really us, because if we forget it, we don't have it. And so in the silence there is someone. There's someone that's more real than all the noise he's making. All the noise are just rays, are just little drops of potential. Potential that we as a species have forgotten how to develop. And so we're getting a very little taste of it. We've learned how to develop external things. Our senses have taken us on a ride. We've forgotten that we have organs, that we have attributes, that we have intelligence that isn't pleased by everything. It's very specific. It was designed to be only a certain way. In this silence there is someone that knows what it wants, but it doesn't necessarily trust us enough to tell us. Everybody according to their level of development, intelligence and attributes, so that they can handle who they really are. Who it means to be. Before we even talk about what it means to be them, what does it mean to be? What does it mean to be anyone? So in this silence, you can meet this someone. There's no noise that will take you there. Noise is good to stop other noise. But eventually the best noise will lead you to a place where you no longer need any noise. Noise includes any form of activity in thought, feeling, sensation, any form of doing or undoing. It's all noise. Noise that's blocking us from seeing the true beauty, from listening to the symphony of nature. To see the angels create reality moment by moment, exactly according to the formula that was designed by the perfect one who foresaw all that's going to take place under his design. Silence means that there's no resistance. Resistance is noise. Resistance is a result of thinking that we understood something. And then that little part of us that thinks it understood something has left reality. And it's resisting reality. Because the plan that there is for all of us was not known even to the prophets. They knew it was good. They knew it was worth pursuing with everything that we have. They begged to see it and to be there when it comes. And yet none have seen it. None understand the master plan. This is the way it was designed to be. This is part of the purpose. Revealing the master plan would defeat the purpose. And so, if we think we understood enough to know what's ultimately right and what's ultimately wrong, that part of us has left reality, and now it's going to resist reality. That resistance is a form of noise. Reality cannot be visible when we're making noise. When we're making noise, all we see is our own noise. So coming back to silence means to learn to love everything that is exactly as it is. It doesn't mean that you don't want to help it or change it. It means that your love is not conditional, based on some type of achievement, on some type of level of development, on some type of behavior. And so if we love something, even if we see that it's behaving wrong, we can love it and therefore want to help it to learn to behave right. That's still loving it as it is. Not loving as it is means to put a condition. When it will be this way, then I will love it. That's not love. That's just creating conditions for reality until it can be improved by your wisdom. Reality has its own wisdom. Reality's wisdom is the ultimate wisdom. Wherever reality is, that's exactly where we want to get entry into reality. That's the only place available to get entry into reality. Exactly as it is. We can all have it. We can have as much of it as we want. There's only one condition. We can have it exactly as it is, or not at all. So the silence is the place where we choose to have it as it is. If we didn't choose to have it as it is, then we most certainly will not be silent. Return to that silence. And obviously this is a continuous process. The silence becomes deeper and more real as we practice and realize the value of gaining deeper access to our own potential. The silence is our potential. The silence is from where we come. Every single one of us came from there. Every single one of us is there, and every single one of us will return to there. There is reality. Reality is the place where we don't make any noise. Our noise is not reality. Our noise is what we do with reality. Reality is behind our noise, giving us the ability to make noise. And that's where we're coming from, and that's where we're going to. And so the deeper we learn to be silent, the more we are returning to reality. Because we're allowing everything to be, and we're okay with it. And then from there, we can help it, we can improve it. If we love it, we will devote ourselves to it. And that's beautiful. But first, we have to get to it before we can help it. If we're just making noise, we're not helping. We're part of the problem. If we haven't found silence, then we have an agenda. We're trying to fix the world in our way. We're trying to make the world the way that we see it. And that's the biggest tragedy. So return to silence means to allow the Creator to be the one that gets to design reality, to surrender to that truth that already happened. To realize that there is a wisdom beyond anything that we can perceive, that designed every detail of what is and how it is and what happens in any type of scenario, in any form of interaction. Everything perfectly designed. Nothing can go wrong. Nothing can go off track. Things can become very uncomfortable to humanity, but that's part of the track. That's part of the way. That's part of how we learn and how we realize what is right and what is wrong. If the things that were meant to be painful were not painful, life would become more crippled. Life wouldn't be better. Pain indicates a form of violation. And so it violates our silence. It creates an alarm. It makes noise because it needs our attention. Something needs to be repaired. And so over many generations, the noise has only gotten louder and louder. And now, we need to find a way to lower the volume of that noise so that we can see reality. Reality needs our attention. So we can see ourselves, understand our needs, understand the things that are bothering us or causing damage to our experience or our relationships. And it's about finding the place from where we receive the life force and keeping all of that desire alive within us, so that the circumstances don't reduce our desire, our interaction with life. So if life is unconditional, we for sure will have it. The more conditions we will put, the less likely we'll have it. So we're deciding, and then belief becomes the nature of the soul. So return to that place from where everything comes. Everything that arises, remind yourself where it really belongs. Remember its origin, remember its source. Every form of activity is coming from the same source. And ultimately it's coming for the same purpose, for the same goal. It's trying to serve the same one. It's trying to please the source that it came from. And so let everything that comes forth acknowledge who it is trying to serve. Bring everyone back to the silence within.